Does weight training count as cardio? That's what we'll talk about today in this Fitness for 50 Plus video. I'm Alicia Jones from Alicia Jones Healthy Living, and for over 16 years, I've helped transform the health and lives of women over 50 through fitness and weight loss strategies. And you may have already heard that weight training is one of the best things you can do to enhance your quality of life over 50, to enhance your strength, and yes, to even lose weight by revving up your metabolic rate. But it's no secret that cardio is good for you too, right? I mean, it can balance blood sugar and help with insulin resistance. It's great for the heart and great for your VO2 max, or your lung capacity. The problem is you might not have the time to do both weight training and cardio. Or maybe you do have the time, but you don't really want to spend it all exercising. I get it. So the big question comes in. Does weight training count as cardio then? Can you combine the two by doing a weight training workout that is also cardio? The answer is yes. You can count weight training as cardio if and only if you enter into the cardio zones during your weight training workout. There are 3 simple ways that you can check during your weight training workout to ensure that you are in the cardio heart rate zone. You can either do a talk test, you can use fitness technology, or you can manually calculate what your heart rate zone is and check for yourself. Once you know what your heart rate zones are, you're going to want to check it throughout your weight training workout to make sure that you're hitting those zones, at least sometimes. During your weight training workout, you'll want to know 2 zones in order to make sure you're within this range during your workout so that you can count it as cardio. One, you'll want to know your warm-up heart rate. That's 65% of your total max heart rate. This is a warm-up heart rate. So for the first 5 to 10 minutes of exercise, you're going to want to see a heart rate zone of 65%. After that, you're going to want to try and reach 85% of your heart rate max. This is a vigorous or high cardio zone. You do not need to stay at 85% of your heart rate max, a very high heart rate, for your entire weight training workout. Instead, you're going to want to look to be between the 65 to 85% zone, within that range. In fact, during weight training, a lot of times you're going to elevate and go all the way up to 85%. Usually when you're doing a set, for example, heavy weights, your heart rate will go up and it might reach that 85, and then it might go down a little bit as well. This is called interval training, and that is what I can predict would be most likely to be happening when you're doing your weight training workout. Interval training has some amazing benefits that steady state cardio does not have. So it's actually very beneficial for you to do this sort of training. It's great for your heart, it's great for your blood sugar, and yes, it does count as you being in your cardio heart rate zone. Look to be between 65% and 85% of your heart rate zones while you're doing your weight training workout if you want to count it as cardio. Now that you know the zones that you need to be in, let's talk about the 3 ways that you can check and make sure that you're in those zones. The very first way is the talk test. You literally have a conversation or talk during your workout, especially if you feel that the workout is strenuous or you're getting into a cardio zone. If you're able to carry on a full conversation or sing or talk just like I am right now, you're probably at a 65% heart rate zone or below. That means you're at a warm-up heart rate zone or less than that, and you might want to push yourself a little bit harder if this is the only phase you get at for your full weight training workout. We're not quite getting into enough of a cardio zone. If you do a set and you're out of breath like this, and you can hear that you cannot keep a conversation, that means you're closer to the 85%. You're at your working heart rate zone, a cardio heart rate zone. This is probably while you're lifting weights or right after lifting weights that you're going to notice periods that you're out of breath. This means that you're closer to the 85%, and that means you're in a higher cardio zone. Again, you're going to want to look for the high and times when you're out of breath and times that you can keep a conversation, because you're probably going to be doing interval training as a cardio zone with weight training. So as you can see, the talk test is a really simple way. You can start doing this right away to find out whether or not you're in a cardio zone or not. The problem is it's not really precise, is it? You don't really know for sure that you are reaching that heart rate zone. And that's where number 2 comes in, the method of fitness technology. If you've got a Fitbit, if you've got an Apple Watch, a Garmin, or my personal favorite and what I use for all of my cardio workouts, a Polar Beat or a Polar. That's a strap that goes around your waist and you have an app that goes with it. Well, these are all amazing methods for you to know not only what your exact heart rate is, but also the heart rate zone that you're in. At the tap of an app, it does it all for you. A little word of caution though, if you are using a Fitbit or Apple Watch and you are doing weight training as in intervals, so a heavy set, you're resting for a while, and then another set and resting. When you're spiking your heart rate high for short bouts and then bringing it back down, there tends to be a lag time with the Fitbit and the Apple Watch. Because of this lag time, you absolutely have to check your heart rate manually to compare it to the stats that your Fitbit and your Apple Watch are giving you. To do this, you're going to take your 2-piece fingers and place them on your neck. You're going to count the amount of beats that you feel for 10 full seconds. Once you've done a 10-second heartbeat check, you can multiply that number by 6 to know what your heart rate is. Does it match with what your Fitbit and your Apple Watch is saying? If it does, you're good to go and you know that your piece of technology is fairly accurate. If it's not matching, well, then you're going to have to use another way, either the talk test or you're also going to have to check manually, which takes us to number 3. You can also calculate your heart rate zones manually if you don't have a Fitbit watch or an Apple Watch and if you don't want to use the talk test. It does take a little bit of math though, so hold on tight. There are 2 simple equations you can do to check your heart rate zone. Both of them require your resting heart rate. To find out what your resting heart rate is, first thing in the morning when you wake up, have a stopwatch by the bed. Find your pulse either on your neck or on the thumb side at your wrist, and this time you are going to count the beats for 60 seconds. After you've counted the beats for 60 seconds, you will know what your resting heart rate is. Here's where the 2 equations come in. If you got a number for your resting heart rate that was between 60 to 72 beats per minute, that means that you get the simple equation. You're going to do 220 beats minus your age. This gives you the maximum heart rate, the highest heart rate percentage you'd want to see. Of course, we want to know what 65% and 85% of that heart rate zone is. So take that maximum number and multiply it by 0.65 or 65%. That'll give you your warm-up or your 65% heart rate zone. Then take that maximum heart rate number again, and this time you're going to multiply it by 0.85 or 85%, and that's going to give you your cardio zone. Remember, you want to be between 65 to 85% throughout your entire weight training workout if you want it to count as cardio. So what if your beats are lower? Let's say you're between 50 to 59 beats as your resting heart rate. If you're very active right now, maybe you're doing cardio or Zumba, you've been working on your heart health for a long time, then having a very low heart rate is really normal. For example, I have a resting heart rate of 54. That's my average. The more athletic you are, the lower that heart rate is because the more efficient your system is. So congratulations. But let's say you're not that active right now. It could be that you have something called bradycardia. Bradycardia just means that you have a very slow heart rate. But this could happen for a number of different reasons. Hypothyroidism, for example, can cause a lower heart rate. So do certain heart conditions. Also, certain medications can lower your heart rate zone. So you'll want to check with your doctor to make sure that your heart rate being low, your resting heart rate being low, is okay. And once you know that, you're going to have a little bit more difficulty with your calculation. When I say that, I just mean a little bit more math. First, just like with the simple calculation, you're going to find your maximum heart rate. That is 220 minus your age. Then you're going to subtract your resting heart rate from your maximum heart rate. This is going to give you a number known as heart rate reserve. And this is the number that you're going to then multiply by 0.65 or 65% to give you the warm-up rate. And that same heart rate reserve number, you're going to want to multiply by 0.85 or 85% to get you into that cardio range. This will give you between 65% and 85% of the heart rate zone, which means the zone you need to be in during your weight training workout if you want it to count as cardio. As you can see, the manual calculations are a little bit more tedious. You have to do a little bit of math. And as one of my clients once said, I'm a French teacher. I have no time to do that math. If that's the case, use the talk test. Use your fitness technology. Use whatever method gets you through to figure out whether or not your weight training counts as cardio. And if it doesn't count as cardio, push yourself a little bit harder, maybe lift a little bit heavier or take less time, less rest time in between your weight training sets. That way you can get in the zone and it will count as cardio. I hope this video helped. I'm Alicia Jones from Alicia Jones Healthy Living. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and I'll see you on the next video.